very special program today, and to introduce our special guest today is our president-elect, will be president starting in July. It's coming soon. Here's our president-elect. Thank you, Chris.
When he says it like that, I almost wonder if he's got a countdown or something, counting down the days, but I'm not going to ask that because I'm afraid of the answer. As everyone well knows, getting guests for the Rotary Club is one of those fun jobs the president, well, it can be a fun job the president like. Which is why you've been subjected to such weird speakers this year, because basically we follow my hobbies. And there's more trains coming, I'm warning you all now. However, the speaker today is not from a hobby. I don't consider music a hobby, I consider music a part of my life, and it always has been. As many of you may have heard me ramble on about at different times, I played the flute from a young age. So, instead of listening to me talk about music, let's listen to the actual person who knows better about music. Amy Buchanan McGintis, is that right? Yes, I'm sorry. Is the Symphony Education Director for the Lafayette Symphony Orchestra. She's been with them now for 2 years. She's a import. She graduated from the University of Tennessee, so she's not used to all us crazy Northerners. So I'm sure this has been an interesting adjustment. But she's going to talk to us about some very special programs that the Lafayette Symphony has coming up, and that if you're not aware and haven't made attention, you should really try and pay attention. So without further ado, Amy, if you would.
Hello everyone, my name is Amy Buchanan McGinnis. I am the Education Director of the Lafayette Symphony, and I'm so happy to be here and legislate with you all today. I spent the morning in your lovely town, across the street, at a beautiful coffee shop, sending emails and reading. It was a very pleasant experience. I'm so happy to be here today. As the Education Director of the Symphony, it's our goal to reach the 14 surrounding communities of Lafayette, especially in my area, the families and children in those areas. At a time when arts and music are being cut from our public education programs, we find that as a private organization, it's more important than ever before to reach the families and the children through the schools and the libraries and through organizations such as this. So today I'd like to tell you a little bit about the education programs that we have to offer through the Symphony, as well as 4 exciting shows that we still have left for this year, for this 2014-15 season. The mission of the Lafayette Symphony Orchestra is to enrich our community by engaging audiences and inspiring a love of music through exciting live symphony performances, innovative programming, and educational outreach. For our educational outreach programs, we have several exciting programs going on, and I want to tell you about a few of them today. One program that we have that involves the public schools is called Strings Attached, which I love the name of. Strings Attached takes 40 tiny violins into 4th and 5th grade classrooms for students to learn to play during their music period that day. It's a really exciting program to watch the students open the case of maybe the very first instrument they've ever touched. It's one thing for a student to see a picture of a violin, or to hear a violin recording, or to hear their music teacher talk about quarter notes and 8th notes. And it's a very different thing for them to be able to open a case, hold a real instrument, and nice little instruments too, a real bow, and to learn to play a song. Sometimes music teachers contact me at the end of a semester and say, the most fun my students ever had was when the LSO visited our classroom for the Strings Attached program. It's one of our most valuable programs and a huge success. We're actually going to be coming to Van Rensselaer Elementary School in March to do the Strings Attached program for 8 music classes. We're very excited about that. Another program that the LSO offers for families and children is called the Family Cushion Concerts. This is held through local libraries, and it's a neat experience because it removes the barrier between the musician and the listener. When you're in a large concert hall, the music can seem far away from the listener. But in these small settings, we have one musician from the symphony play and speak with children and their families. Sometimes with preschoolers, and we have some very innovative programming. One particular player, our harp performer, Melissa Gallant, brings her harp and artwork, and the preschoolers make up a story to go with her music and the art. So it's a very interactive program. Students also learn how the instruments work. So Alfred and Colette Abel will often perform for students in libraries on a violin viola duo. And they talk about the physics of the instrument and how the strings work. And so it's more even than a music concert for these kids. They get a physics lesson as well. A third program that the Symphony has to offer is called Lafayette Suzuki Strings. This is a new program that I started 2 years ago, specifically for Suzuki string players. We didn't have any Suzuki programming in the Lafayette area before. It is for students who already play the violin. It meets once a month, and they get the opportunity to perform around town as a group. And that's a great experience for a young musician, especially for schools who don't have orchestra opportunities. The Lafayette Suzuki Strings is actually going to be performing this Friday on the stage at the Long Center prior to the Lollipop concert, which I'm excited to tell you about in just a little bit. The Lafayette Suzuki Strings also has a free opportunity for children who want to know more about lessons. Oftentimes the student will express interest in learning music, but the parent doesn't have any connections to music teachers or violin rentals or information on what it takes to really learn an instrument. So Lafayette Suzuki Strings is a great place to come find out the answers to those questions. Another program that the LSO offers focuses on middle and high school students. It's called Class Acts. And this is a great program, a great opportunity for music teachers. For this program, a string, brass, woodwind, or percussion ensemble visit junior high and senior high school music classrooms. They play tunes, talk to students, answer questions. And the focus of this particular program is to give students who are interested in music already an idea of what it would be like to pursue music. So when you visit a middle or high school band or orchestra, students want to know, can I really make a living with a trombone? And then they have a live trombone player to ask such a question too. So it's a great contact between real musicians and high schoolers who maybe want to pursue music past high school. This Friday, we have two big programs coming up. We have the Lollipop concert and we have the Symphony on the Go concert. Symphony on the Go is maybe the most energy we have in the Long Center all year long. We bus in about 1,000 elementary school students during the day for a fun-filled orchestra concert designed specifically for children. This year's concert is called Music, Music Everywhere. It's written by the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra's conductor. And it's a lot of fun. It has a cartoon penguin who talks to the kids and interacts with the music. There's a lot of original music for this program and then a lot of famous music too. All of the children who are coming to Symphony on the Go on Friday have been listening to the music that they will hear, the famous ones, Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, Gershwin's American in Paris, and Beethoven's Ode to Joy. They've been listening to those in their music classrooms for the last month in hopes that they will have a bigger appreciation for the music that they'll hear. The kids who are coming have also been doing lesson plans in their music classrooms to learn the difference between melody, harmony, and rhythm, which is the main original score for Symphony on the Go this year. So hopefully they're going to be able to connect the learning that they've had in their public school classrooms with what they see on stage this Friday, and it's a lot of fun. An auditorium filled with fourth graders has a lot of energy. And then Friday night of this week, we will have the family Lollipop concert. It starts with a petting zoo at 6 o'clock, not for animals, but for instruments. So students can come at 6 o'clock to pet the instrument of their choice. They can try a tiny violin, tiny cello, they can blow into a trombone. We We partner with TAF and with Tippecanoe Arts Federation and with students from Jefferson High School to allow students of all ages, tiny up through high school, to touch an instrument, try an instrument, and then see those instruments played professionally at the same concert that night as they performed in the morning. So that's the Lollipop concert. It's a lot of fun. Another program that the symphony offers, and this is new starting last year, I was looking to see how the symphony could serve our community in ways that were yet unserved. So we started a program for master classes and chamber coaching. This again focuses on middle and high school groups, training students how to function in a chamber group. We'll bring the principals from the symphony into the schools to do a chamber group coaching or a master class. The master class is really nice because you can reach an entire orchestra in sort of the fishbowl training technique. So you have one student who takes a lesson, maybe that they would never get to have with a really incredible musician from the symphony. They take a lesson and all of their classmates observe that lesson. So 80 string musicians will be able to learn from one lesson that happens through the master class experience. And that's a great program too. The last program I want to tell you about today is called Puccini's Backstage Pass, and that's a lot of fun. I'll tell you specifically about last year's Puccini's Backstage Pass. Every sixth grader from Sunnyside Middle School who was in the orchestra came to the Long Center for a dress rehearsal. They came early. We had Puccini's Pizza in the St. John Pavilion together, and they were a rowdy crew. I learned a lot from them about what makes a student tick, a sixth grade orchestra student. We had a scavenger hunt during the dress rehearsal, so they had a list of activities or musical phrases or instruments that they were listening for during the program, and they would check it off and earn points for whatever they heard during the dress rehearsal that day. They also received a tour of the Long Center by Nick Palmer, our conductor, and I think he got an education too about sixth grade orchestra students that night. We had a lot of fun traipsing all the way up to the old film projector in the balcony, and then down low to see the dressing rooms, to see what life as a musician is like. So those are some of the programs that we offer for families and for children through the symphony. Next, I'd like to tell you about our 4 upcoming concerts still this year. Our monthly concerts are really the base of the orchestra. It's what you normally think about when you think Lafayette Symphony Orchestra. And we have 4 left. Really, really good shows coming up. The first is the concert I mentioned earlier, the Lollipop concert this Friday night. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be filled with children and their parents, and they're going to be excited out of their chair. They also get to go home with a lollipop, which might be just as exciting for them as the entire orchestra performance. In March, you'll want to mark your calendars for this. March 7th is the Keller concert. Every year we have students from our 14 surrounding counties audition to perform with the symphony. This is a big deal. This is something that many professional musicians never get to do in their entire life. So for a student to be able to perform with a live symphony, that's sort of like a dream come true. Our 3 winners this year are going to give us a wonderful performance. The first winner is Ian Rosina, and she's on flute. She was actually a winner last year on violin, so it gives you kind of a taste of how extraordinary these students are. She is a sophomore at Vanderbilt. She's majoring in flute, violin, and Spanish, and she will be playing Mozart's Flute Concerto in G major movement 3. It's going to be great. Flute player. You'll enjoy that. Our second winner is Elena Escudero. She is a soprano vocalist, and she's going to be singing 2 beautiful French arias, which I won't attempt to pronounce for you. She's a graduate of Jefferson High School, and she now goes to DePaul University. Our third winner is Daniel Hallett. He is at West Lafayette High School, and he's going to be playing a marimba concerto. This is my very first marimba concerto I will ever have played in, so it's an exciting event too. Very rare to see a marimba perform with the symphony. I've never seen that before. And it's going to be a great show. In April, Our concert is called Noche Latina, and this was one of my favorite concerts from last year. We are bringing in a guest conductor. His name is Jesus Medina, and he will be leading the orchestra in two Spanish Latina tunes, very difficult to conduct. Nicholas Palmer was talking the other day about how Jesus Medina is one of the few conductors who could pull off such a performance because the pieces are so complex. Also, at the April 11th Noche Latina concert, we will be featuring a Lafayette pianist. His name is Greg Castrava. You might recognize his voice from WBAA. He's the announcer. So that's going to be a great show. Our last performance of the year, I'm very interested in. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out because it is a new idea in classical music. It's sort of up and coming. Hasn't really been done before. It's on May 23rd, and it's called Shredding with the Symphony. It's going to be a combination of classical and heavy metal. Don't know how that's going to work, but I'm very interested. The soloist for Shredding with the Symphony is a world-renowned classical violinist who I've heard perform a few times. Her name is Rachel Barton-Kine, fabulous violin soloist, and she makes her own arrangements of these heavy metal tunes. So we are going to have combinations of, listen to this list, Van Halen and Sibelius, Nine Inch Nails and Shostakovich, Led Zeppelin and Paganini. So we're going to do some combos there and see how that turns out. I'm excited to see what a fine violinist can do with these arrangements. Also, a side note, the symphony is doing concerts called the B-side, as in the B-side of a record. Lesser known works in a more relaxed setting. This is the second installment of the LSO's nightclub series. This one is going to feature a string quartet. It's going to be at Carnahan Hall on February 19th at 7:30. So it's a much more laid-back, interactive, relaxed setting to experience the string quartet, and they're going to showcase some classical and modern quartet music. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. Thank you so much for having me again today here in Rensselaer. It's our hope with the Lafayette Symphony to be able to foster organizations that will allow us to serve our 14 surrounding counties and reach more families and children who wouldn't have those opportunities before. I've enjoyed my very first Rotary meeting, and I've enjoyed meeting all of you, and I thank you very much for having me here today.
Amy, would you accept any questions
I want
today?
to, sure.
Do we have any questions? Ready today?
What's the, as a musician, how much time commitment are you looking at in the orchestra?
Most musicians play with more than one symphony if performing is their full-time job. So the musicians who are in the Lafayette Symphony often play in Indianapolis and Fort Wayne and Kokomo as well. So they'll travel and play more than one symphony. For the Lafayette Symphony alone, that's the only symphony I play with since I have other work as well. It's 1 week during the month of a performance. So we have between 1 and 4 rehearsals per concert.
I would like just a couple of moments here to share some details that will be of interest to the club here as well as to you. Actually, I'm likely to leave out the importance of the connection between Rensselaer and the Lafayette Symphony Orchestra is intense in many facets. I myself was on the board of the symphony for 12 years. The first person to be on that board, not from Lafayette or West Lafayette. Gordon Colco, I was a member of this board. I was on that board for 12 years. Both of us are on the Lafayette Symphony Foundation Board. I'm on the wall and center, but that's not for me. That time, is right here, was on the Lafayette Symphony Board, as was Kelly Ford, the choral director of the college. Jim Ernest, sitting across the table here, the fellow who's going to look up Shooby-Doo and I don't know what, Jim Ernest's son, Andy, is not resident here anymore, but if you were, you would simply play Low Brass and maybe all the time with the Lafayette Symphony. Lydia Umlauf from Rensselaer won the talent contest a number of years ago and played with the symphony. The deceased Wally Laird from the radio station gave the symphony so much publicity, I would challenge anybody, to have given more. And that's the radio station over which our president resides. The first strings attached program was at Attica. And the young man, the music director who was responsible for that was Clayton Kennedy, and he is from Rensselaer and St. Joseph's College, and I'm still not running out. Alfred Abel is directing the orchestra at St. Joseph's College right now. The trio Amabile, with Alfred and his wife Colette and Morgan Millett, have played here many, many, many times, always welcome. Ben Tonner's grandfather, who established the music department at St. Joseph's College, Paul Tonner, is arguably, to the best of my knowledge and information, the most prolific composer in the history of Indiana. And then the song Back Home Again in Indiana is by James Handel from, you guessed it, Rensselaer. Okay, so that's enough for one day. You come back.
Thank you, Governor. That was amazing. We have quite a history. As you can tell, you're welcome. You're amongst friends when it comes to, we really appreciate, oh yes. Yeah.
I just also like to echo what Dr. Egan said. It's a fantastic organization. It's very well organized. Board members are very committed to the symphony. The shows are wonderful. I would recommend or suggest that it's a great date night to go to a show. It's right downtown in Lafayette, and you have a web page where people
We do. You can go to LafayetteSymphony.org
Yes.
to buy tickets, look at shows, make a donation, find out about education programming, get contact information. All of that's available at LafayetteSymphony.org, which I think is probably printed in the brochures if you want to take one of those.
I didn't see this.
Scattered pretty around.
Okay.
I may not have brought it up.
Thank you.
I would tell you my connection to all this, did not beat you, Governor. I like to listen to Franz Liszt. How's that? I did try the French horn when I was a kid. And we did have an orchestra at the school. I went to high school orchestra, and several of the young lads became a rock group. One went on to win an Academy Award for Eye of the Tiger. So music can help people grow in themselves and grow the spirit too. And we're so glad you were here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Now, our theme this year is Let It Brother. I was hoping you'd help me out here. And I know if you ever ventured down into the orchestra pit, you may need one of these rotary flashlights. So I'm going to give you
That's scary.
yeah, so here you go. So we really appreciate you coming here, Andy, and thank you very much. Big round of applause. Next week, our program is us, all of you. So we're looking forward to all you being here. Bring a friend, bring a guest. We have a 50-50 drawing, and the 50-50 drawing, if you're not aware of it, we haven't read your minutes, 50% you get to keep it, you get the Queen of Hearts. The other 50% will go to the Rotary Foundation in your name, so you will have money go towards the foundation in your name. So, Amy, if you could do the drawing, please. The last $3, please. Yes, please. 216. Well, that was really nice of you, Amy. Good job, Amy. Someone needs a pick besides me. Pick one of those cards if you would, Amy. Yes, please. Just pick one. That way you know we'll invite you back anyway. Thank you very much. Please stand for the 4-way test. official call concern.